Hey. So, Simber passed out yesterday twice, and she apparently was dehydrated, and we ended up coming to the hospital. So.
Are you wanting me to tell the story?
Mm-hmm. She tells it much better.
Tell the tale. So, I've been sick since Wednesday evening. Wednesday, while I was at work, I realized I had a lymph node that was swollen, and my throat and ear were starting to get sore. And by Wednesday evening, I was having like some vertigo and a little bit of dizziness, just felt off. And by the time the kiddos and I went to bed around 8 o'clock, I was having a fever. So when Justin got home and said I was burning up, because to me, he and the kids all felt cold, even though the kids were sweating, which I knew something was up then. Justin had me take my temperature, and it was 101.6. So I had a feverish night, was going between sweating and chills, and just like sweated all night. And the day before, I had worked some outside because it was a great day to be working. The sun was behind the clouds most of the day. There was a good breeze, so it just felt really good to be out working. And I got a few tasks done. So again, Wednesday night had that feverish night. Thursday, I went ahead and called into work and took the day off because I realized I needed to rest. And I was basically down for the day, taking naps throughout the day. Justin said I slept pretty hard in the afternoon, dozed most of the rest of the day off and on. And then poor Justin had to take care of everybody that evening. And then had another night of, sweaty and some coldness. And let's see, my temperature that night was 101.3. But by the time, actually the next morning, so yesterday morning, I didn't have a chance to take my temperature because I went to work early. My temperature had gone back to normal Thursday morning. I was at 98.8 or 98.9, something like that. Anyway, so it was just kind of weird to me that I had a feverish night, had normal temperature the next morning, and then feverish night the next night. Anyway, I felt okay at work. I still felt sick, telling people I'm sick, stay away, kind of thing. Stay away. But I was feeling all right, and throughout the day I was getting better. Now, granted, I didn't drink as much water yesterday as I should have, but I was a little thirsty, but not bad. But as I was driving home, I got really hungry, so I stopped at Chipotle, got me a steak bowl, because I was hungry for that, and got back in the car, and I was heading towards the kiddos to pick them up, because we're kind of starting our celebration of Malachi's birthday a little early. And within just a couple of minutes of leaving Chipotle, I started getting really bad stomach cramping, and I started having some vision issues. Like, my vision got blurry and things started kind of pixelating, and I got to a point where there was a barricade on one side, and so I was just praying, okay, dear Lord, just get me through this barricade so I don't hurt anybody, don't hurt the car. And as soon as I got past that, I got over and pulled into a parking lot and tried to rest and slow my breathing. And then I got out because I really needed to use the restroom. And before I even got around the front of the car, I had to put my hand on the hood to try to rest because I got really woozy. And next thing I know, I'm thinking, oh, the left side of my face hurts. And then I come to and I'm on the ground. And my key ring had like split, the key fob and the key ring had come off of the leather connector. So I hit apparently well enough that just like busted. Anyway, so I got back in the car where it was safe, had another episode after I called Justin's work to get him to be able to get off work to come help me. I had another episode in the car, but I don't think I fully passed out, but had, the vision thing going on and the clamminess and all that. So by the time Justin got there, about 20 minutes or so later, 15, 20 minutes later, he helped me into the business where I just randomly pulled up. Come to find out it was a veterinary hospital. And as soon as I got in the door, I had an accident. It started flowing, and then I passed out again. But because Justin was there, I didn't fall to the floor. And then after I came to, then we went into the bathroom, and I was there for a while. And then I ended up, at the end of that, after the paramedics arrived and they were waiting for me to get cleaned up and such, I did have one vomiting session. So all that told, got on the stretcher, got in the EMS vehicle, and they couldn't get a blood pressure reading from me because my blood pressure was too low. So anyway, okay, so once I got in the EMS vehicle, they couldn't find my blood pressure because it was so low. They gave me some saline, and he pumped it quick and was able to get the blood pressure up enough that they could get a reading, and it was pretty low. And then I ended up my body took in 1 liter of saline within 10 minutes. So that's 1,000 milliliters within 10 minutes, which he said is pretty fast. And then they started me on the second bag. So I had them come in to Baylor University Medical Center, which is the place where we've come when I've had to have hospitalized stays from either childbirthing or other things. And anyway, so almost 3 liters of fluid later, and some, he had given me some anti-nausea medicine, some Zofran, and then test after test after test later. Lots of blood tests, urine sample, x-rays to the chest, because at first they thought maybe I had some pneumonia. Long story short, no pneumonia, no UTI. I'm not septic, but that was their concern. I requested that they deviate from protocol and not give me just a general hard and heavy antibiotic. I said if we could just wait to see what the test results showed. I'd rather take targeted antibiotics than just a full broad spectrum, let's shoot at everything. Anyway, so long story short, from what they can tell, there's not a heart condition. There's not a severe infection. Again, I don't have pneumonia. Essentially, they think I just was really dehydrated. Probably some from the work I did on Tuesday out in the outside, and then from breastfeeding, having the fever, and then also the sweating. The weird thing was I thought you were more thirsty whenever you got dehydrated, and I wasn't exceptionally thirsty. Not until I was at the veterinary clinic and stuff was coming out of me fast, and then I was like, okay, I need water. And I could have chugged a bottle of water at that point. But lesson learned. Pause it. So I just did a walk around. Sorry, I had to collect my thoughts. Did a walk around, and my blood pressure was fine, heart rate was fine. So I should be released soon. They had said before noon, but hospitals. But at least I get a lunch this way. So out of all this, I've definitely learned drink way more fluid than you think you need, especially during breastfeeding time, and if you've got a fever, whether you're sweating or not, but especially if you're sweating. And then I also, from multiple sources, they've confirmed that they agree that I have what is called vasovagal, which means that whenever you have things like diarrhea or you see blood or some different conditions like that, it can be emotional or physical, your body reacts kind of like a fight or flight reaction where it sends a lot of blood flow to certain areas of your body and it takes it away from your brain. And so your body's response to that is to pass out, which makes sense because since Malachi's been born, I had 2 cases of food poisoning and 1 of a GI virus, and the same kind of thing would happen when I would have diarrhea with that. And that's why I'd have to have Justin close to me to keep me from falling in case I passed out. So good to know. Glad I'm better. Get to go home. And we get to see the kiddos. They got to spend the night with Grandpa and Grandma. So, well, Granny and Grandpa. So, we appreciate the prayers. Just want to let you know what was going on. Maybe a few days before we post our next video. So, y'all stay healthy. Learn from this. And don't have to visit the hospital for hard-headedness. And God bless.